Hey there, good evening, welcome to Prog Monster. My name is Murph and I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock, hard rock, heavy metal, and other forms of rock music. So it's Wednesday night favorites. Tonight we're doing a special band, the Beatles, doing our top 10 Beatles songs. As I mentioned before in this week's episode, that I really thought I had this already done. It was a big surprise to me when I looked through the list a couple times and different lists and couldn't find it anywhere. Maybe it's out there, I just haven't seen it. But anyways, we're doing it again. We haven't done it the first time. We haven't done it the first time, this will be the first time. Anyways, it's the top 10 songs by the Beatles, my top 10 favorite songs by the Beatles, and we'll do it the standard way, which is 10 to 1. So my least favorite to my most favorite. And then in this case I have about 8 honorable mentions too. Could have done more easily. There's a lot more songs I could have put on the honorable mentions, but 8 is enough, as they say. Okay, so let's get down to it. And just remember, these are my favorites. They aren't necessarily the best Beatles songs of all time. Some people will be offended if I say this is my favorite song. They will say that I'm basically saying that's better than this song. Well, I'm not saying it's better than that song. I'm just saying I like it more. You know, I'm allowed to like what I want, same as you're allowed to like what you want. And that's why it's interesting, because everybody likes things a different way and sees things a different way and has an emotional impact a different way. So we're going to start by doing my number 10, which is off of their very first album. It's their first song on their first album, so it's their first Beatles song. And it's Love Me Do, Please Please Me is the album it's from. I have this album. It's a good album, pretty solid. Poppy as hell, though. Their earlier stuff is all pretty poppy, but it's funny, it's almost like two different bands. The pop era and then whatever that other era was, the psychedelic, progressive era, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, Love Me Do comes in at number 10. Number 9 on the 8 Days of Week is 8 Days of Week on the 8 Days of Week album. And I like this song quite a bit. Always have kind of liked it a bit. It's kind of catchy. Good upbeat tempo. So number 8 comes from the Blue album, and that's what I'm going to name this 67 through 70 album as. There's also the 62 through 66 album, or the Red album if you prefer. They're pretty standardly known that way. There are a number of tracks on both albums that were not released on studio albums, showed up here as unreleased singles. Anyways, Revolution is number 8. This was one of the first Beatles songs I ever really liked, because it's, unlike most Beatles songs, it's got that kind of really heavy and gritty guitar. Heavy and gritty for the Beatles, maybe not so much for other bands, but I dug it then and I still dig it. Revolution from the Blue album. Also coming in from this one's from the Red album, which is Paperback Writer. I love that guitar riff that George Harrison does, that little guitar solo kind of riffy thing that he does. So cool for the 1960s is really cool. Okay, the next song is also from the Red album with the exact same kind of feeling towards it, and that's Day Tripper. Same kind of, not the same guitar riff, it's a different riff, but it has that really cool sound to it. So Day Tripper goes in at number 6 for me. Number 5 is maybe not as well known a song as most people might not even know this song. It's called Tomorrow Never Knows. It's from the Revolver album. It also was covered by Phil Collins, and I have the cover version as well. So I like both versions quite a bit. I think the Beatles is better. I really like that heavy drum lick riff and the kind of spaciness of the song. So always kind of dug this song. Number 4 comes from the Blue album. It's also one of those singles that was never released on a real album, or on a studio album, if you prefer. And that's Strawberry Fields Forever. One of the first really good psychedelic songs, I think. Love it. I love all the psychedelic stuff by the Beatles quite a bit, and this one is right up there amongst my favorites. Number 3 comes from Abbey Road. It's the only song up here in the top 10 from Abbey Road, which is a really good album. It's probably my favorite Beatles album overall. Hard to say. I like the Blue album and the Red album quite a bit as well. But I wouldn't, if I was ranking them, I wouldn't include those two albums because I don't really see them as studio albums. Although there's enough material on both of them that weren't released on any other album that you could actually probably include them as well. But anyways, it's Here Comes the Sun. It's a George Harrison vocaled one from Abbey Road. Number 2 comes from Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, and that's A Day in the Life. I always kind of felt this was a very strange song, but I loved it. It's kind of got different tempos and it's telling a story, and just a really cool song. So A Day in the Life from Sgt. Pepper's. And then the number 1 song off of the Blue album, very psychedelic, in the same vein as Lucy in the Sky and Strawberry Fields, and we're talking about I Am a Walrus. This has probably been my favorite Beatles song since I was a teenager. You know, I knew some of the Beatles stuff even before the Kiss stuff because my uncle, my dad's youngest brother, was a really huge Beatles fan, and so he played this stuff all the time, and I got to know some of it, but I never really thought of it as rock music. I don't know why. It is rock music, but I just didn't think of it that way. I thought of it as Beatle music. You know, it's like Beatles transcended rock and had their own category, which was just Beatle music. You know, that's the way I kind of thought of them. I didn't really think of them as being lumped in with the rest of it. But anyways, so there you have it, my top 10 Beatles songs. And I'll reiterate them in reverse order from top to bottom, and then give you my honorable mentions as well. So, coming in number 1, I Am a Walrus from the Blue album. Number 2, A Day in the Life from Sgt. Pepper's. Here Comes the Sun is number 3 from Abbey Road. Number 4 is Strawberry Fields Forever from the Blue album. Tomorrow Never Knows is from Revolver, and that is number 5. Number 6 is Day Tripper from the Red album. Number 7 is Paperback Writer, also from the Red album. Number 8 is Revolution from the Blue album. Number 9 is 8 Days a Week from the same 8 Days a Week. And number 10 is Love Me Do from Please Please Me, their first album. Okay, so the honorable mentions I put down include I Want to Hold Your Hand, A Hard Day's Night. I don't know how you could leave that off. It probably should have made my list, but normally it probably would have, but I was just feeling some love for some other songs this time, so it didn't make it. Norwegian Wood, another very underrated deep cut that I love a lot. You know, deep cut with the Beatles. What does that mean? It means it didn't make number 1. I guess that's what it means. Nowhere Man, another really good song. Lucy in the Sky from that kind of blue album period. Back in the USSR, another really good song. Maxwell Silver Hammer, that Abbey Road special. I love that one. Get Back, which no, that wasn't. I was thinking of something else. Okay, I was thinking of Come Together, which was also done by the Aerosmith. But no, Get Back. I didn't actually include Come Together as a honorable mention, but I will now because I completely forgot about that song because I don't remember seeing it anywhere. It was out there, I know that. So Come Together, and then the final song from my honorable mention is With a Little Help from My Friends. Now, originally, during the 70s and 80s, this was the Beatles song that I liked the most. And then I Am a Walrus took over at some point. I'm not sure where, but it was probably in the 80s and has been that way since. So anyways, these are my honorable mentions. Those are my top songs. You know, anybody's got a list of Beatles songs they want to give me, let me know. If I forgot something that you think should be honorably mentioned, let me know. Just try to remember that these are just my own personal favorites. And the Beatles, there are a few bands like this, but the Beatles are one of these bands that they have so many songs and so many good songs that you can't really include them all because your list would be forever. The other thing too is that they move around a lot with the Beatles. Some of the stuff, like if I came and did this 2 months from now, half of these songs might not even be on the honorable mention, and another group of songs might be there. It's just, that's the way it is with the Beatles with me. I also enjoy some of the Beatles cover bands. There's a few of them out there that do really, really good imitations of the Beatles and are very enjoyable. It's almost like being there. I've enjoyed them that much. So anyways, there you have it. My top 10 favorite Beatles songs, and this is Wednesday Night Favorites. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please like and subscribe. I love it when you subscribe. I really appreciate it. So have a good evening and enjoy the rest of the night. Goodbye.